Hello everyone, Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. Let's check in. Stellar, we got some double tops forming. We also had some in the other videos posted earlier. First, we had the double bottom in Stellar, hitting the stop reduction, then coming up, hitting the first profit target. Remember, the second one was the least reliable because it was into the wicks. Testing it again, declining 50-period moving average coming in. And then we sold off. So those targets were hit, the main ones we were looking for. So if you're following this, you should have been able to at least raise a stop or take some profits off. Now let me remove this. Now we formed a double top, which is a confirmed double top and a triggered double top. And this is why you have to learn the patterns so you can set these up yourself. And then they went all the way down, 0.3343, tested dipping below a couple times, and now possibly heading back down across the rotation zone against it. So any rally up, minor resistance coming in about 3.445, major resistance coming in about 0.350, top of the resistance zone, and the breakdown level from the double top. I'm going to remove that also because that one is done. Now the next key gain levels projected down. We have 0.328375, which would retest these very key lows, and then 0.32375, which exceeds these most recent lows. And boy, we haven't been back at those prices since the beginning of February. Let's check in on the daily chart, though, to help fine-tune this, to see where we're going. Okay, so the bigger picture on the daily. Rallied up, nice 3-bar rally into the rotation zone, couldn't close into it, and then plummeting back down. So the rotation zone on the daily is still in charge. Something you got to keep in mind. You cannot ignore these rotation zones. Now, I gave you the minor targets. Should this really break down, the major targets lower would be about 0.3092 and then 0.29056. So keep that in mind should this really, the bottom fall out. Those are the key next levels down. And we'll fine tune those with clusters as we start selling off and hopefully look then for reversal patterns. Switching over to NEO. NEO running up. You're seeing here hitting our next cluster area a few different times. Cluster between this 144.80 to 145.27. Those targets all hit. That is done for the time being. Don't yet have the first cross up there. If it does rally up, we have major resistance coming in at about 138, and then we would watch for a return to these high levels around 143. Watch for this first cross rotation zone. This did form and trigger a double top, hitting the first level of 132.25, and then just hitting right before I did this recording, the second level, 130.12. 50 coming in there. This is a pretty critical area. If it does go down below, then we're looking for 128. And if that's broken, you can always do a Gann projection once we get another rotation back up, but it's probably going to line up with a return to possibly about 123.50 area, which we have the flat 200 prior resistance and a key retracement Gann level. Let's check in on the daily charts to see how all that looks. So really nice pullback, still holding above the rotation zone. So in addition to the 50, you have the 8 on the daily. This is going to be very key support. Then if that is broken, you could easily see this return to also the other side of the rotation zone on the daily, which is about 126. And this other target becomes very, very likely. Not much else to report there. There is a pretty big divergence on the daily chart, and I can show you that right now. So you had a higher high in price, and if we come down here to our RSI, we had a lower high. So that is a divergence, waning momentum, so we can start watching for the bigger pullback. Keep in mind, if it does break down from the rotation zone, the last key place it found support was this 50 that's rising, the daily 50, which is going to come in with a key 50% retracement level. So we'd be watching if the bottom really fell out around 118.50 level is the next major area down. Finally, looking at NEM. NEM, let's see, let's check something else here. The high was 0.44, the high here 0.44, so an even highs and a divergence. So here we had equal highs, RSI lower, so that is still a divergence. Came up here, triggered this very sloppy pattern coming up to our major cluster at this 0.4341 area, 0.43328, 0.4341, and the declining 50, all lining up again. Poke through it, collapsed, poke through it, collapsed. That is officially done for those levels. At least gave you an opportunity to raise stops or take some profits. Now, collapsing back down, we did get a first cross rotation. Right now, we're back below it. That might not hold. This, by the way, is not a double top because it's not reversing enough of a move. So all the targets are actually beyond the key levels. And if they're beyond the key levels, it's technically not a double top. So we can't use that. What we can use is a Gann projection, though. So Gann projection would take us, the next major level down would be 0.39241, which takes us to these prior support area. And if that breaks down, we can then do another reverse Gann box from this high to the recent lows, which then takes us back down to this major cluster area. Minor cluster 0.3727, major cluster 0.3647 to watch for. Let's check in. If it does rally, by the way, major resistance now at this 0.433 level. That was this prior key closes and rejected from that. If it did rally above it, we'd be watching for a return to about 0.445. But this is not looking very strong because, look, it spiked up into the rotation zone and dropped back down very hard. So on any rallies, sellers still coming in very big, still nothing to be aggressive about with them, with NEM/XEM not looking strong at all for the time being. That's our update on Stellar, NEM, XEM, and NEO, and we will talk to everyone soon. Bye for now.